world can feel like a dangerous place when humans and wild animals cross paths. You've probably heard countless stories of people attacked after stepping too close. But sometimes, the most unlikely protectors rise up in the moments when we least expect it. Take 1986, for example. At the Jersey Zoo in the Channel Islands, a 5-year-old boy leaned over the rail to get a closer look at the gorillas. In a blink, he slipped and fell more than 15 feet straight into the enclosure. The impact knocked him unconscious. Imagine the fear rippling through the crowd. An unconscious child lying helpless, surrounded by some of the most powerful primates on Earth. Everyone braced for the worst. Gorillas are strong enough to tear through branches like they're twigs, and a single swipe could have ended the boy's life. But instead of chaos, something extraordinary happened. A massive male gorilla named Jambo approached. The crowd held its breath. Jambo didn't attack. He sat calmly beside the boy. He reached out gently, as if to check on him, then positioned his body between the child and the other gorillas. For minutes that felt like hours, Jambo stood guard. When the boy stirred, the gorilla even stroked his back softly, almost like a parent comforting a child. Every time another gorilla came too close, Jambo gently steered them away. He didn't move until rescuers finally rushed in to lift the boy to safety. That moment changed how millions of people viewed gorillas. They weren't just feared giants of the jungle, they were capable of compassion. And it left one haunting question hanging in the air. If a gorilla can instinctively protect a child, how many other animals out there are more like guardians than predators? When you think about loyalty in the animal kingdom, nothing compares to a dog's devotion. Dogs have lived alongside humans for thousands of years, guarding, guiding, and protecting us in ways we often take for granted. But every so often, one story reminds you just how far that loyalty can go. It happened in Los Angeles, late one night. A man was relaxing in his home when an armed intruder broke in. The burglar pointed a gun directly at him. In that instant, survival came down to seconds, and standing just feet away was his German Shepherd. Before the man could even react, the dog launched forward. With no hesitation, he threw himself between his owner and the weapon. The gun fired. The bullet hit the dog instead of the man. The noise, the chaos, everything happened in a blur. But the outcome was clear. His dog had just saved his life. Neighbors called the police. Paramedics rushed in, and the man held his injured dog in his arms. Against all odds, the shepherd survived the shot after emergency surgery. Both man and dog lived to see another day. Their bond forever changed. What makes this story remarkable isn't just the bravery, it's the instinct. Dogs don't sit down and weigh the consequences. They don't think about risk or reward. They simply act, guided by an unshakable drive to protect the people they love. You can train a dog to sit or fetch, but you can't train them to take a bullet. That kind of sacrifice comes from something deeper, and it leaves you wondering, how many people alive today owe everything to a dog that stepped forward when no one else could? Sometimes heroes don't walk on 4 legs or swing through the trees. Sometimes they swim in the deepest waters, weighing thousands of pounds, with instincts we can barely understand. In 2009, at an aquarium in Harbin, China, a group of divers entered a tank to work with beluga whales during a public event. One of them, a young woman, slipped beneath the surface for what was supposed to be a routine dive. But almost immediately, something went wrong. Her legs cramped, locking up with pain. She tried to kick toward the surface, but couldn't. In front of horrified onlookers, she began sinking toward the bottom. The trainers shouted. People in the crowd gasped, but no one could reach her in time. That's when a beluga named Mila noticed. Belugas are known for their intelligence and curiosity, but what Mila did next went far beyond curiosity. She swam down quickly, nudging the diver's body with her nose. Then carefully, Mila positioned her mouth around the woman's leg and began lifting her upward. Slowly, steadily, she carried her toward the surface like a lifeguard. Moments later, the diver broke through the water and gasped for air. The audience erupted in disbelief. A 2,000-pound whale had just saved a human life. Scientists later said that belugas are sensitive to distress signals, often responding to unusual movements. Maybe that's what Mila saw. Or maybe, in that moment, it was something more, an instinct to protect, to help. Either way, it was undeniable. A whale had noticed a human in danger and chosen to act. And it makes you wonder, if a creature of the sea can recognize our struggle and come to our aid, how many other stories of compassion are hidden beneath the waves? When you think of lions, you think of hunters, apex predators built for speed, strength, and power. The last thing you'd ever expect is for them to act as guardians. But in 2005, in Ethiopia, that's exactly what happened. A 12-year-old girl had been kidnapped by 4 men. For a week, she was held in the wilderness, terrified and far from home. Her captors beat her and threatened her, and with every passing day, her chances of survival grew slimmer. Then came the moment no one could have predicted. As her abductors moved her deeper into the countryside, 3 lions emerged from the brush. At first, the men panicked, fearing they would be attacked. But the lions didn't chase the men. Instead, they surrounded the girl. For hours, they stayed close, growling and forcing the kidnappers to retreat. The predators that could have ended her life instead became her shield. The girl sat trembling, but the lions never touched her. They stood guard until police finally arrived. Then, as if their work was finished, the lions calmly walked back into the wild. Experts have debated this incredible event for years. Some suggest the girl's crying may have sounded like the call of a lion cub, triggering protective instincts. Others believe it was chance, a rare behavior we may never fully explain. But one thing is certain, without those lions, she might never have made it home. In a land where lions are feared and respected, they prove that even the fiercest predators are capable of choosing mercy. And it leaves you wondering, how many more times have animals acted not as threats, but as unexpected saviors? The ocean has always carried its share of danger, and few things inspire more fear than the great white shark. But in 2004, off the coast of New Zealand, a group of swimmers learned that they weren't alone in the water, and their protectors weren't human. Out of nowhere, several dolphins appeared. At first, the swimmers thought it was just playful curiosity. Then the dolphins tightened their formation, circling closer, swimming fast and deliberate. It wasn't random at all, it was strategy. Only then did the swimmers notice the shadow lurking beneath them. A great white shark, longer than a man is tall, was approaching. The dolphins refused to let it through. They held their line, keeping the people shielded inside a living barrier. For more than 30 minutes, the dolphins circled tirelessly, blocking every attempt the shark made to get closer. Finally, the predator drifted away, and only then did the dolphins disperse, vanishing as quickly as they had arrived. And it's not just the ocean where animals have stepped in to protect us. In Montana, a family slept peacefully one night, unaware that danger was already inside their home. Their cat began meowing frantically, pawing at their faces, refusing to let them rest. At first, they thought it was a nuisance, but then they smelled something faint in the air. Gas. A leak had filled the house, one spark away from disaster. Thanks to their cat's persistence, they escaped just in time. From dolphins in the deep to a house cat in the dark, animals have proven again and again that they are more than companions or creatures we observe. They can be guardians. And it makes you wonder, how many untold rescues have happened quietly, with no one there to witness them? Not every rescue happens in the wild. Sometimes, the hero is curled up right in your own living room. In Montana, a quiet evening almost turned deadly for one unsuspecting family. It was late at night. The house was silent, the family fast asleep. But their cat suddenly became restless. She began pacing, pawing at their blankets, and meowing loudly. At first, they brushed it off as strange behavior. Cats are known for being unpredictable, after all. But this time was different. She refused to stop. The more they ignored her, the louder she became, scratching, pulling, even leaping onto their faces. Finally, half asleep, the family stirred. That's when they noticed something odd. The air felt heavy, the smell faint but sharp. Within moments, they realized what their cat had sensed long before them, a gas leak. Invisible, odorless at first, but now seeping quickly through their home. One spark, even from a light switch, could have turned the house into an inferno. The family rushed outside into the cool night air, shaken but alive. Emergency crews later confirmed the danger. The leak could have been fatal. And the reason they were still standing on their front lawn that night? Their cat's unrelenting determination to wake them up. This wasn't instinct from the wild. It wasn't centuries of hunting behavior. It was a house pet, attuned to her surroundings, refusing to let her humans sleep through disaster. From gorillas and whales to lions, dogs, dolphins, and now even a family cat, the lesson is clear. Animals are not just part of our world. Sometimes, they are the reason we survive it. And it leaves one final question echoing. How many more lives have been saved by animals in moments that never made the headlines?